to be distracting? That's Rebecca's. I took my shoes off because I don't know how people wear heels, but I wanted to be comfortable. So I am Gillian, as Christine said, and I'm super excited to be here. I am going to talk tonight about how we can Marie Kondo our lives. And so I think most people know who Marie Kondo is. If you don't, she wrote a book called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. She has a show on Netflix. And basically, she goes into your home, or she teaches you to go into your home and look through everything and find those things that spark joy for you, and then pretty much get rid of everything else. We're not going to go into your homes. We're not going to talk about decluttering, but we are going to talk about how we can spark joy in our lives. And I believe that the way to do that is to create space. Now, when I say that, I am pretty sure that that actually means something different for every single person here. For me, it means mental space. I like to call it brain space because there are times when I don't have the time or space to think or process or reflect. I am just running, and I can't actually make a strategic decision to save my life. For some people, it's going to be emotional space. For some people, it is going to be physical space, and you might need to declutter. Some people are going to need to take their shoes off because their feet need space. So it's going to mean something different for every single person, but we're going to talk about how we can make space in our lives. So I am going to tell you first about a time that I had literally no space and near burnout, and why that led me to become so passionate about finding space, creating space, and helping women do the same thing. Okay? We're good? So I'm going to take you back 2 years. As Christine said, my day job is I work for the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority, and I run the events at Canada Place. I run Canada Day. And on a good year, a regular year, that means I throw a party for 500,000 people. In 2017, 2 years ago, it was Canada 150. It was the sesquicentennial, big word, of our country. And we are already the largest celebration outside of Ottawa on July 1st. So with 2017, we were pegged as being the biggest celebration on the West Coast for Canada 150. So with that came a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations from various levels, and a lot of priorities, and a lot of changing priorities. And I am a chronic, now recovering people pleaser. So when the priorities are changing literally daily, I became the person who could get shit done. I became the person who said, yes, no problem, we can do that. Sure, you're completely changing the direction we were going in. Absolutely, we can do that. Oh, now this person's coming. Okay, no problem. No problem. I became the no problem, we can get it done. And I began to thrive on that, and it became my identity. And I was running on pure adrenaline for 2 years. And I have to say, I was nailing it at work. But I was failing at home. When you run on adrenaline 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week for almost 2 years, you have no space. You have nothing left when you walk in the door at night. And I don't know about you, but when I'm that exhausted, I have no patience. I was not the wife I wanted to be, and I was not the mom I wanted to be. I yelled a lot, lost my patience, and I slept a lot because when I was at home, I didn't know who I was because I was the person who got shit done at work. So, fast forward a little, event went awesome, over 2 days, 1.5 million people, no problem. And I still had to figure out who I was because I had been the person who ran on adrenaline for 2 years, and all of a sudden I had space. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I started to really reflect and think about it. And I realized I needed more space, and I needed to figure out what that meant. But I thought I had been wearing busy as a badge of honor for that 2 years. And I thought, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. But then when I dug deeper, I actually realized I had been wearing busy as a badge of honor. And my old roommate is here from when I was 20, and she knows this is true. I have always worn busy as a badge of honor. So I want to ask you, if you go to a coffee shop, you go to a grocery store, you run into somebody you haven't seen in a while, and they say, how are you? First thing you say, good, busy. Things are good, but God, so busy, right? It's like we think saying busy makes it okay. It makes us a better mom. It makes us a better human. I mean, look at all the stuff I'm doing, and I am still upright. I am amazing, right? So then I started to see it in everybody else too. It wasn't just me. So I wanted to figure out how we could make space and get rid of that badge of honor, make having space the badge of honor. So how do we do that? Okay, so are you with me? Yes? Ready to learn how? Okay, step one. There are 3 steps. Step 1 is prioritize. Now, when I say prioritize, I do not mean look at your to-do list and figure out what order to do things in, okay? I want you to identify your personal priorities. Some may call them values. Funny story, when I wanted to go and figure out what my values are, I had a little panic attack because I couldn't think of anything, and I thought that must mean I'm a really bad person. So I frame it as personal priorities. These are the things that you hold paramount. These are the things that are your non-negotiables, the things that you put above everything else that matter most in your life. So if you're having a little panic attack right now, I do have a thought starter for you. You can go to momcamplife.com/leadingmoms. There's a PDF there you can download, and it has about 40 suggestions of what priorities you might have, helps you identify what they might be. Just a little tool. My top 3 are family, health, and fun. I'm pretty sure that everybody in here being a leading mom will probably have family somewhere in your top 10, but everybody's will be different. Maybe not. But every single person will have different personal priorities. They are your priorities. They are personal. They are just for you. So when you've identified those, and maybe you've already started thinking about it, but I want you to look at your to-do list or your calendar, and I want you to ask yourself, how many of those things align with or serve my personal priorities? Because when I did that exercise, the answer wasn't a lot. I was doing a lot of things in service of something other than my personal priorities. So once we know them, we have to protect them. And that comes to step 2. Set boundaries. Now, I told you, recovering people pleaser. This is terrifying for me to think about saying no to things. But when I don't want you to put up walls. I don't want you to say to people, no, stay away, I can't do this. But I want you to think about those personal priorities. They are the things that are most important to you. So you need to protect them. That's what the boundaries are. They are you saying, this is where I want my space to be. And I don't have space for anything else. Or if you make the conscious decision to say yes to something, you say it because you're willing to give that space. It's okay, because you know you have enough space for your personal priorities. So then the step 3 was actually the first step I took. One thing I didn't tell you about Canada 150 is we made a mantra, a hashtag, expect it to change. Because literally every day I would tell my team something new and say, but expect it to change. So at the end of 2017, I said, screw this, we have a new hashtag. Our hashtag is simplify. So that's step 3, simplify. What that did for us was it empowered us. It was so freeing, you guys, I can't even tell you, to be able to say, wait a second, do we have to do this? Is there an easier way to do this? Do we have to do this right now? We got to revisit and reevaluate every single decision we were making. And it was so awesome that I implemented it in our own lives at home. It's like, oh, we have to go to the store. Actually, we don't have to go to the store. We're already going out tomorrow. Let's piggyback that trip. That's a simple example. But there are so many things that we now do in a simpler way, or we've eliminated because we just want to simplify. I know that if you do the priorities, boundaries, and simplify, PBS, because I love a good acronym, if you do those things, you will create more space in your life. You will spark joy. You will have time to celebrate your life and the space you've created. Now, I want you to ask yourself, if you had 20% more space, whatever you've defined the space that you need in your life, if you had 20% more space right now, how would your life improve? Now, audience participation. I want you to turn to your neighbor, and I want you to tell them how your life would improve with 20% more space. And then I want you to finish your sentence with, and I deserve it. All right, I'm gonna bring it back in, and I hate doing that because I wanna give you space. How did that feel? Does everybody have a way of that they're going to improve if they get more space? I still see people are taking space. All right, everybody, we deserve to have more space in our lives so we can have the time to celebrate our lives and to spark joy. We deserve it, all of us in this room. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you, everybody here, because even by being here in this room tonight, this is us making space. Thank you.